up? Galera, it's Ohio with Gina and Grow Strong, and I'm back with another video. Today we're going to talk about finding motivation to train. And before I do, I want to go ahead and say, make sure you fill out the 90-second Capoeira survey. I'll put the link down below. It's a way to converse back with the channel to see what kind of, so that you can dictate what kind of content that we have. For example, someone asked on the last, one of the last entries about how to modify to get into bridge. And so I'm going to direct the link that video I made with my Capoeira over 40 series. And so I'm going to put the link down below. It's exactly what we talk about, how to modify moves and still look cool. And when you're starting Capoeira at a later age. So I'm going to put that down below on my free Capoeira over 40 video series. So I'll put that below, fill out the survey. So all right, finding motivation to train. And this could be for Capoeira, Jiu-Jitsu, anything that you're doing, Muay Thai, Dutch kickboxing, Shuchi-Woxi. When you kind of hit a plateau, or you hit, just kind of lose inspiration, you train. I'm going to talk about it very organized, but I'm going to start with a story that happened. Maybe I was about fourth chord. We were kind of high chord students at an event, probably in Dallas, but it could have been in San Antonio or Colorado Springs. But I specifically remember Mestre Pingo Fogel talking about this, and he said, if you don't feel like training, if you hit one of these plateaus, then take some days off. If you don't feel like training, don't train. Go take some days off, travel, go surfing, la la la. And at that time, like I said, we were hungry fourth chord, fifth chord students coming up, and a couple of my colleagues, fellow students, fellow high chord students in our group, it resonated with them. And me, in the back of my mind, I was like, dude, you guys are fucking pussies. I mean, I love training. The only reason I don't train is because I'm spending time with my family or working. But every other waking moment that I had was dedicated in some form was to training. And so these guys were burning out because they were, the exercise, too much training, la la la, burning out. So it didn't resonate with me, but remember that Mestre Pingo Fogel, he's a Brazilian, as many are, and they already knew that Capoeira was going to be there all the time. And those are some of the feelings that I had later on as an instructor. Hey, if I want to take some time off, I take some time off, and because I know Capoeira is always going to be there, but not as a student. You know what I mean? This is the time where your formative years where you need to be training. So now I'm going to talk about it specifically. I just want to start out with that story because I really vividly remember that point in time where I guess some of my classmates were losing motivation to train. Okay, so now I'm going to break it up into a few different ones. If you're a new student, if you're a high-level student, or if you're a GRADUADO or INSTRUTOR, I'm going to break that up into 3 different levels for advice. So if you're a newer student, first, second chord, or less, below, and you're losing motivation to train, trust me, you need to press through it and stay with it. You need to discipline yourself to train through and bust through it. Unless you're getting injured, unless you have some recurring that are nagging on you, just push through it. Trust me, you're going to thank me for it, and you're going to thank yourself for training with it. You're not in shape yet physically to do all the Capoeira moves. Forget about the music and the dance and the cool moves, or like the language and all that, and the percussion. Physically, you need to get yourself in a shape to lift your leg high, to kick straight, to do cartwheels, to do handstands, to do bridges, to flexibility, to do takedowns, to be physically enough to have a strong base, your core. There's a lot that you need to train through that to even get to be at a proficient level, your fundamentals. So if you're a new student and you're lacking motivation, trust me, push through that. You're going to thank yourself so much. Okay? All right, now as a higher level student, you may be fourth, fifth chord, moving your way up the ladder. Enough to be dangerous. You could play the beating bow, you could do the stuff, or you're trucking through it. You think you have a grasp on the Capoeira and you love it, and you're trucking through, and you've lost some motivation and you're trying to train. Let me just tell you that you haven't paid your dues yet. I mean, there's so much, even at this level, that you need to go back and visit. This is what I recommend is if you could if physically you're burning out, then go train some music. If you get tired of music, then go train some acrobatics. If you're not training that, train some kick timings. If you're burning out on that, go train some takedowns. aerial acrobatics. There's so much that you haven't done. The language, the Portuguese language by itself, just being able to converse in Portuguese. You haven't paid your dues. You haven't paid your dues in money for the tuition to your master. You haven't paid your dues in time, okay, to get good at something, capoeira or whatever martial art that you're doing. You haven't paid your dues in blood, getting injured, getting hurt, getting sore. You don't even know what you don't know yet. So press on. If you're burning out, I would say take time off of one thing and go train another aspect of capoeira, because honestly, you haven't paid your dues yet. All right, now I'm going to talk about the graduado or instrutor level. I'm going to break these up into 3 different divisions. Okay, the first one, this is all about your past training experience. Okay, so 1, if you had poor training, you could have given more. Somehow you stuck around. They graduated you. You were there, but you could have trained more. You always, you didn't quite make the workouts. You didn't quite finish the workouts. It was a kind of a pain. You knew there was more you left on the table that you could have given. So that's one level. If your past training, which was pretty good, you know what I mean? You think you trained pretty hard, but you still have an insecurity like, well, I wasn't as good enough, or I wasn't as good as these other guys. But I trained good. I came and I worked hard and I did this. So that's that second level where you train good. And then a third level where you trained hard, you left it all on the table, you kicked ass, and you're still lacking motivation, or you're looking for renewed motivation. So those are the 3 things I'm going to talk about for the graduated student or the instrutor level. First one, we knew you kind of had lackey training, shitty training, and you're a graduated student or instrutor, graduado or instrutor, and somehow you found yourself graduated, and you're very like, oh man, I didn't even train that hard as best as I could. I knew I could put more effort into it, but I stuck around, loyalty, and I was, I came to class, and I didn't want to, and I was tired and whatever. You need to question your motivation to why you even train capoeira in the first place. Now you're at the black belt level, the wood karate or anyone else would say that this is your black belt. So you need to question your motivation, why you even started in the first place, and why you stuck around. And you need to, similar as what I said in the other one, you haven't paid your dues yet. This is the beginning. Now that you're a graduado, there's so much more that you need to be doing. And if you already have this lacking, that you're at a low level graduate, then you need to work overtime. You need to get your ass in there and train harder and go recoup all those things that you missed. There's always stuff to clean up. Your takedowns aren't clean, especially as a fresh new graduado. When you start going there and you're testing students and you're rough, you're not as clean with your takedowns, and you're blasting little kids on accident because you're trying to take them down, but you're not clean yet. You got to go clean that up to learn how to take people down, full-size people. I'm a small dude and I can take down big dudes with care. Okay, everything, scissor takedowns, with trips, with care. And I rarely hurt anybody. I recently accidentally hurt somebody with a scissor takedown. He got his leg twisted. But that's the first time in 15 years that I've ever hurt anybody. An accident, I would say, was because he had these cross trainer shoes, and we were training on a deck, like a wooden deck, planks, and it had gotten stuck. Because I've done hundreds, if not thousands, of those takedowns before. So you need to go in there and be proficient with that takedown and clean it up so that you're not hurting people as a graduado. Next, if you've the next level of a graduado or instrutor, where you've trained pretty good, you're proud of your training, you've worked hard, you've done your thousands of kicks, you've traveled, you've done things, gone to events, maybe you've been to Brazil. I don't know, and you're still lacking motivation, and you need to question out. So I would say go explore other things, maybe other martial arts. Or other aspects of capoeira in different groups. Maybe you don't train Angola. Maybe go train Angola style. Take more workshops. If you're mostly a regional group or contemporary group, contemporânea, go train other stuff. Maybe train some kickboxing and another art that'll help your capoeira. I know I have, or your jiu-jitsu, or that type of stuff to make it fresh. Go to Brazil, right? These type of things. this is what I would recommend for that. And then also moving up to that next level, where you trained hard, you kicked ass. This for sure I would explore other aspects of it and travel. And this one, if you haven't been to Brazil, go to Brazil, train with different masters. Go down there and learn, clean up your Portuguese if it's not good, and maybe take some time off. This is the level where you say, okay, you want to take some days off. Take some time off. You've earned it. You've trained thousands of kicks. You've done all that. But until then, until at this level, if you're just one of these guys getting by, like I said, you haven't paid your dues. You haven't paid in money. You haven't, going to events, paying masters, going to batizados, going to Brazil, in tuition to your master. You haven't paid in blood. You haven't gotten injured. I've been in the ER several times. They were even going to call me cicatriz, but they had already named somebody else that they didn't want to. He wasn't really training, but I had stitches all over. I got a snake tongue. I got kicked in the mouth, and I had my tongue split because I bit my tongue, and I had stitches on my face. It's even on YouTube. Jamaica, I think for my second or third cord, Jamaica did a scissor takedown to me, and I flinched, and he hit me in the head, and it's on YouTube. Maybe I'll put the link below. And I got stitches. He popped my head open, started bleeding. I got elbowed in the eye, stitches here, another on the other side. I mean, I was getting hurt almost every couple months, and going to the ER, and that's just a part of it. You haven't paid in that much. You haven't paid in time, right? And dedication. So there's a lot to move. So if that's any of you, then you haven't paid your dues. So hopefully this video has been helpful in breaking it up. Before I did a burnout video one time, what to do if you're burning out, but this is much more specific. Okay, guys. So hopefully that was helpful. Put some comments below if you have any questions. Make sure to get your Jenga gear, hat, coffee mugs, all that stuff. We'll put the link below. Make sure that you take the 90-second survey that I mentioned. This is it takes 90 seconds. It lets me know what kind of content you want to see on the channel. Subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff. We have a free course also if you're new to the channel. Now, if you haven't got my Ohay's home training course, I'll put the link below. And also go check out my Capoeira Music Mastery. It's on pre-sale. It's going to be $100. Now it's only half price right now. So until next time, galera, Ginga and Grosh. And don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Ginga and Grosh.